In today's show, we look at Tuesday's action in the NBA, who we can stream in, what we're watching for, who's in, who's out, looking ahead to the rest of the week as well. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_Beeble, on TikTok at redrock_Beeble, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. We're here to look at Tuesday's games, streaming guys in, what we need to pay attention to. So, Warnie.
Let's get it on, Gilly.
All right, first game, the Battle of the Mystical. Washington Wizards versus the Orlando Magic. Obi, why aren't you dancing? It's a good song to dance to. All right, the Wizards and the Magic. The Wizards have 4 more games this week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. The Magic 3 more. Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. What we know at this point is that the future MVP, Kyle Kuzma, is out for Washington. Porzingis missed a game on the weekend, but he's back and ready to go. But Kuzma is out. For the Magic, Jalen Suggs is out as well. So, what are we watching for here? On the Wizards side, without Kuzma, I'd expect that they start Corey Kispert. I think it's a little bit of extra value for Kispert, Avdia, and Daniel Gafford. Avdia's really struggled of late. He's not really doing anything that's exciting. I think I prefer Gafford and I prefer Kispert over streaming in Avdia, but Avdia could always have one of those 10, 5, 2 steal, 1 block games, especially if they start him. So we do want to see the bump in value for him and how they utilize him, but Kispert's probably going to have 14 points with 3 threes or 14 points with 4 threes. Nothing else. But both of those guys get a good bump. For the Orlando Magic, Cole Anthony has really benefited from the absence of Jalen Suggs, so we use him again here. I think he is a strong 12-team league guy. Yes, there are only 3 more games this week, but I do think that if Cole's getting 28 a night, if Suggs remains sidelined, which I think is distinctly possible, then Cole does have some value here. I also want to watch the dart, Goga Badadze.
Problem with my Gogo-mobile. Gogo-mobile? No, not the dart. Not the dart.
Because Goga is the backup center now. He's ahead of Mo Wagner. He's ahead of Bol Bol. And those of you in deeper leagues, this is a guy that can get 2 blocks. This is a guy that can get 4 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks. That's useful enough. And if something happens to Wendell Carter, injuries, foul trouble, Goga might step up. So this is an interesting Goga section, and he is available everywhere. And if you are in deeper formats, and even starting to get into 14-team leagues, he will pop his head up, I think, at some point, as being a name that we have to pay some attention to, amazingly. The next game we look at is the Pistons and the Hawks. Detroit only has 2 games this week, Tuesday and Friday. So we can roll with the Pistons on Tuesday, for sure. And then with 1 more game for the rest of the week, they probably do become droppable. The Hawks, they got 4 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. That Bogdanovic that's out is Bojan. For the Pistons, Alec Burks is out as well. Jalen Johnson's out for the Hawks. Jalen Duren, the passport legend, he copped a head injury last game. So I don't expect that he plays. DeJounte Murray's on the injury report with an illness. Isaiah Livers with a hip issue. And RJ Hampton with a back issue. Hopefully we get some more clarification on the Pistons, guys, maybe by the end of this show. But I don't know about Duren, Livers, and Hampton. But I do know that Burks and Bogdanovic, they're not going to play. For Pistons, we want to watch Rodney Magruder, who is playing an insane amount of minutes. 4 games over 30 in a row for Magruder and producing at a high level. Now, does that continue if, say, Livers plays? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with him and Corey Joseph and Livers and Hayes and Ivy and all these sort of guys. But we have to watch what Magruder's doing. We also have to watch what Marvin Bagley III and Marvin Bagley IV are doing, James Wiseman. Because if Duren is out, as I expect, Bagley and Wiseman are probably going to be the starting front court and going to have to play big minutes because there's no other big men. Eugene Omoruyi will get some minutes, but I would expect 30 plus if they stay out of foul trouble for both Bagley and Wiseman. Now, they're not worth holding rest of week after Tuesday, I don't think, with only 1 more game. But with my expectation that Duran's out, and Duran can be dropped as well, then you are going to get good numbers, I would expect, out of Wiseman and out of Marvin Bagley. For the Hawks, with Jalen Johnson out, Adrian Griffin Jr. is the guy that stepped up. Let's watch what he can do, especially if DeJounte Murray is out. I don't think they would start him. They'd probably go with Aaron Holiday, but actually, maybe not. That was Nate McMillan's insane idea. Maybe Snyder will just start Adrian Griffin, and then he becomes a 12-team streamer. We also want to watch the Onyeka Okongwu minutes and how that pairs with Clint Capella. Okongwu's been really good the last 3 or 4 games, and he is providing 12-team league value. Are they going to stick with a minute split, or are they going to go back to more Capella over Okongwu? That's something we need to watch in this game. The next game is the Cavaliers and the Brooklyn Nets. The Cavs go Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. 3 more games this week. The Nets have that great schedule. 4 games, 4 quality games in the final 6 days. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. On the Cleveland side of things, there's the Jarrett Allen injury that we don't know about. Whether he is going to play, he is officially questionable. I think that he's going to play. For Brooklyn, Ben Simmons is out, but they also chucked Dorian Finney-Smith onto that injury report. And just as I'm recording this, I see the Pistons have made an update to their injury report. So let's look. Yes, Jalen Duren is out. Isaiah Livers is questionable. Bogdanovic is out and Burks is out. So we were right on that. Let's double check on any other statuses there. No, that's where we're at with that. Okay, so that's great. We got that update there. Finney-Smith questionable for Brooklyn. If he is out, then what we need to look at is Royce O'Neal will start, but that boosts Seth Curry and it boosts Cam Thomas quite a bit as well, who can become a flyer type streamer, although I'm not particularly excited by that. On the Cavs, with Jarrett Allen out, Dracaris LeVert has been really strong. Will that change if Allen is back? Will he be useful enough? I have my doubts. And Ricky Rubio is starting to play much better. He is at least turning himself into an option as an assists and steals streamer. I don't think you want much more than that, but his value has definitely improved. On the net side of things, I do want to watch Cam Thomas. He played 21 minutes last game, and that was because they limited Mikal Bridges and because they limited Spencer Dinwiddie. So if Finney-Smith does play, does Thomas go back to 5 minutes? Are they trying to carve out 20 minutes and reducing Dinwiddie and Bridges? Because that will be impactful as well if we're seeing Bridges go from 38 to 31 and Dinwiddie go from 37 to 30. That's a big difference. And that's where Thomas got his minutes. So we'll see where Thomas fits in. And then also O'Neal, who's at least a 12-team streamer with this 4-game schedule. He's putting up okay numbers. And if Finney-Smith is out, that really does boost the value there of the Basmati man, Royce O'Neal. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The tournament is heating up, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. And then you can bet on everything from the money line, point scorers, and even three-pointers drained. If we have a look at the odds for today's game, the Kings and the Jazz. The Kings on the road are 6.5-point favorites. First game of a back-to-back for Sacramento in Utah, but Utah has no Lauri Markkanen, so 6.5 feels low to me. I would think the Kings are going to cover that one pretty easily, but we will find out in today's action. You can check out so much stuff, player props as well over on FanDuel, and the other good thing on FanDuel is they let you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. The Spurs and the Pelicans. We did just have an injury report come through from San Antonio. I don't know what to make of this team just in general. It is a mess, and it is going to be a mess. What I do know is that Zion Williamson's out for the Pelicans, and Jose Alvarado is out. The Spurs play Tuesday, Wednesday, so it's a back-to-back, so there's going to be weird stuff going on. We've got them playing Friday, Sunday, so 4 games the rest of this week. Most of these players will play 3, if not 2 games. The Pelicans go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, so a pretty solid schedule. One day off in between, no back-to-backs. Now, what have we got updated for the Spurs? Devin Vassell is out on Tuesday. Jeremy Sohan is out on Tuesday. Zach Collins is out on Tuesday, and Trey Jones is doubtful on Tuesday. All of those are lies. Every one of them is a lie. This team is lying, and they've lied all season. Keldon Johnson is not on the injury report, so he'll play. Devontae Graham is questionable. Malachi Branham is is playing, Bates Diop is playing, Langford is playing, and McDermott is playing. So there's no Vassell, there's no Sohan, there's no Collins, and there's no Trey Jones. So that is wild. So with no Collins, we're really firing up Sandro Mamukelashvili. With no Sohan, we would fire up Keita Bates Diop, who will get that start there. With no Trey Jones, Malachi Branham, and even Blake Wesley become options. It is just an absolute shit show. But all of these guys who play on Tuesday, I don't think play on Wednesday for the Spurs. For the Pelicans, we want to see the big minutes they pump into Trey Murphy. I expect that'll be the case. I also want to see what they do with Valanciunas because he's played like 30-plus minutes the last 2 games after playing like 10 minutes in a game 3 games ago. So they are giving more minutes here to Valanciunas. I also want to see what the impact is on Josh Richardson because his minutes, 17, shithouse. 26, 17, shithouse. So I don't really know how to rely upon that. In fact, I can't. But the fact that they have a really good schedule, 3 quality games coming up in the next 5 nights, is very, very intriguing. And if Richardson played 25, we'd love it. But we don't know that, and it's really frustrating. The Celtics and the Kings is the next game that we take a look at. It is a back-to-back for Sacramento, the only team playing a back-to-back on Tuesday. The Celtics play Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, so 3 more games for them. The Kings also have Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. So they have another back-to-back. They have 2 back-to-backs this week. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, Saturday. Peyton Pritchard is out for Boston, and then there's a bunch of guys we don't know about. Marcus Smart and Rob Williams. I don't think Rob's going to play. Smart, I do think will play. Al Horford missed last game for Boston. He'll return in this one. For Sacramento, we've got Kevin Huerter, Vanderpants, and Trey Lyles are both questionable for Monday. I would be stunned if Huerter played both of these games. I think he plays 0 of them, but I'll be stunned if he plays both of them, but that's something we need to watch. On the Boston side of things, there was quite a bit of outcry in the media from Derek White not playing a single minute in the 4th quarter of their 1-point loss against the Jazz, which, of course, without Marcus Smart is insane and dreadful coaching. So let's see what they do. Derek White's been their 3rd best player this season behind Tatum and Brown, and I don't think it's been remotely close. He's been better than Smart, he's better than Brogdon, he's been better than Horford, he's been better than Williams. So we'll see if they find those minutes for White. But there is a chance that Smart and Williams come back, Derek White plays off the bench and plays 20 minutes. That's a possibility too. Grant Williams played 31 minutes last game. 4 games ago, he was a DNP. I'd imagine that he moves back to the bench, but is it in a 25-minute role? Is it an 18-minute role? There's no reliability in Grant Williams for fantasy whatsoever, but I want to see what his role is because it impacts a bunch of other players, including Derek White. The Thunder and the Clippers. The Thunder go 4 more times this week. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Really strong schedule for them. The back-to-back Thursday, Friday for Shea, though, is a bit of a problem. The Clippers go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, so solid enough for them, all on the low-volume days there too. We know that Norman Powell is out and BJ Boston is questionable for the Clippers, while the Thunder don't have anybody on the injury report outside of the guys who are out for the season in Holmgren and Chet Holmgren and Kenrich Williams. For the Thunder, Lou Dort's been shooting really well. I don't expect Midwest Dylan Brooks to continue to shoot well, but his minutes are going to be solid, and he's always an option, especially in a points league, to stream in. But the bloke I am more interested in is Isaiah Joe, who's played 20-plus minutes in 5 consecutive games, 24-plus minutes actually in 5 consecutive games, and can always go for 5 triples and 15 points. Not much else, maybe a steal or 2, but the role looks relatively secure for Joe, and he's absolutely a streaming option with 4 more games left this week. For the Clippers, I do want to watch what they do with Russell Westbrook.
Price of the brick going up.
Because last game, even with Kawhi back, I thought he played poorly, but he played over 30 minutes. And him playing over 30 minutes and Terrence Mann playing under 20 is a crime against basketball, but it's also what they're doing. And it is having an impact on other guys. I don't think that Westbrook is necessarily a must-roster player in category leagues. It's got to be really specific as to what you need, and you might need to make that decision to actually help your team by cutting him. And then Eric Gordon's the other one we want to watch because Gordon is playing really good minutes. He's played at least 26 minutes in 8 consecutive games. Some of that is because players have been out, but even coming off the bench, he's getting high 20s in minutes and producing at a good level. So he's at least a streamer when we're looking at points and 3-pointers. Let's go a look at some injury stream replacement options. With DeJounte Murray questionable due to an illness, if he sits, I think DeAndre Hunter, if he's on the waiver wire, he gets a boost. Yes, different positions, but it's more usage and more minutes towards Hunter. Bogdanovic would be the other one. They would both become 12-team league options, and at the moment, they're fringy guys. And then you go to Griffin after that, and then very deep leagues go to Aaron Holiday. If Jalen Duren is out, well, we know Jalen Duren is out, then Jim Wiseman and Marvin Bagley become the 2 guys that we add there. Eugene Omoruyi gets a little bit of a boost in deeper formats because there's nobody to play power forward. It's going to be Bagley, Duren, and Omoruyi that play all of the power forward and center minutes, I'm guessing. Although Isaiah Livers could come back and impact that. If Dorian Finney-Smith is out for the Nets, Royce O'Neal becomes a 12-team league grab, especially with the 4 quality games. And then I think there is a little bit of a boost there for Cam Thomas. I would prioritize O'Neal over Thomas, but Thomas obviously has higher upside. In terms of Jarrett Allen, he's questionable for the Cavs. If he is out, then it is Karis LeVert who boosts up. And then Lamar Stevens and Chetty Osman also get some boosts enough to provide value for deeper formats. And then if Vanderpants is out in Sacramento, Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk is the priority. And then it's Terrence Davis after that. Both guys become 12-team stream options. If we're looking at back-to-back streams for Tuesday, Wednesday, there are 3 teams that have it. The Hawks, the Wizards, and the Spurs. But the Spurs, you're not going to get any benefit out of that. Because I would be shocked if anybody outside of Mamukelashvili plays both games. Maybe he's the guy you stream in. In terms of streaming guys in on category leagues, well, it's those Spurs guys we can add to this list as well. I've said the Spurs who play. So Mamukelashvili, with Zach Collins out, you look at Keita Bates-Diop, you look at Malachi Branham as stream options with those players out. I also really like the stream of Marvin Bagley here with the Duran being sidelined. Dan Gafford and Delon Wright with Kuzma out. Monte Morris also with Kuzma out helps. Isaiah Joe, Denny Avdia, and Corey Kispert. You will notice 5 Wizards players on that list as streamable options for Tuesday. Gafford, Wright, Morris, Avdia, Kispert. Those guys are all probably fringe 12-team league players, but when someone's out, they all move inside the fringe. And especially with only 6 games on, there is more value in those players. For deeper leagues, these guys are all available in 90% plus of leagues. I'm looking at Gary Harris in Orlando with Jalen Suggs out. Rubio for his assists. Pig Williams in Oklahoma City. Mamukelashvili, who I actually thinks a 12-team stream now as well. Terrence Mann, maybe. Goga Badadze is definitely a deeper league stream for the Magic. Dario Saric for the Thunder, maybe. Isaac Okoro, if Jarrett Allen is out in particular, yeah, he does become a deeper league stream with at least a secure role. For points league streaming, for Tuesday, again, the Spurs who play, Mamu, Branham, Bates-Diop, all those guys jump up there. Killian Hayes is available in over 40% of leagues. He's a great stream. So is Cole Anthony, Lou Dort, Marvin Bagley, Denny Avdia, Karis LeVert, and DeAndre Hunter. All of those guys become very, very strong options to stream in for Tuesday in your points leagues. If we look ahead now to the next 4 nights, we have got a Tuesday, which is a streamable day, a Thursday, which is a streamable day, and Wednesday and Friday are both 10-game days, which makes it hard to stream. So who plays the Tuesday and Thursday that we need to look at? Cole Anthony, Isaiah Joe, Karis LeVert, Lou Dort, Josh Richardson, Eric Gordon, Larry Nance, Mason Plumlee. Now, that might not apply to you because your team might have an open roster spot on Wednesday and Friday. But if you don't, if you're full on those days, then adding one of those 8 players gives you the benefit of getting a game on Tuesday with low volume and a game on Thursday with low volume, which when you try to stack games into your fantasy playoffs becomes very, very important. If we just look at the next 4 days in general, not even worrying about the volume of games on those days. We look at Gafford, Morris, Wright, all with 3 games. Corey Kispert and Denny Avdia as well. 3 games in 4 nights for the Wizards with uncertainty around Kuzma's ankle gives them really strong value. You've also got Timothy John McConnell with Halliburton likely not playing these games. 2 games for him is very strong. And you've also got Isaiah Joe and Lou Dort with 3 games in the next 4 nights as solid enough options to stream in to get their value in for the Oklahoma City Thunder. In terms of what's upcoming in terms of the world of chunks, 3 and 4, we've got the Wizards, the Thunder, and the Spurs. Again, the Spurs are very unreliable in this situation as to who's actually going to play. There's no team playing 4 games in 5 nights. There is a bunch of teams playing 4 games in the remaining 6 days of this week. The Hawks, the Wizards, the Thunder, the Nets, and the Spurs. The Nets are the only one of those teams that play all 4 of those games on the low volume days, though. But there's a bunch of options there. We've already highlighted a heap of Wizards and Thunder players. The Spurs, who knows? And the Hawks, you've got like your Hunter, Bogdanovich, Griffin options, Okongwu as well. No one plays 5 games in 7 nights, but there are 4 teams that play 5 games in the next 8 nights. That's the Pelicans, the Hawks, the Thunder, and the Wizards, all with very, very strong schedules here for the rest of this week and the beginning of next week. And guys, that'll do it for me today. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. And if you are here on YouTube, you know what to do. You thumb it up and you leave your comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.